Hey you all, welcome or welcome back to the channel. I'm Don and today's video is going to be all about how to make six figures as a social worker. Before we get started, please be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can be part of this wonderful community. Click the notification button so you can be notified of every video that I post so you don't miss a video or you don't miss a vlog, you don't miss information, and you don't miss a giveaway because I am giving a giveaway for 2,000 community members joining this platform. As well as making sure that you give this video a thumbs up. It really helps put this information in front of other people. There's a lot of truth to that. So if you are enjoying the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you know somebody who is in need of hearing this type of content, send them this video. And let's also maximize this community by engaging in the comment sections, making sure that we are sharing our thoughts. If we have a question, reaching out there, that's going to be the best way for me to answer back to you all and help. Jumping straight into the video, the first and most important way to make six figures as a social worker is to expand your definition of social work. Too often we put limitations on what it means to be a social worker. We really define it based on where we are working and traditional duties and job descriptions that we were taught in school, and we are attached to particular titles. If there is something that I want to leave you with, that would be to throw all of that out of the window and to really be intentional about expanding your definition of what social work means for you. Two things: social work is more than a title, and it is everywhere. Social work is everywhere, which leads me into my second way in which you can make six figures, and that is by expanding where you work and being open specifically to work in retail or corporate social work. There are increasing positions opening in retail and corporate social work. By retail, I mean places like Walmart, CVS, Walgreens. These are organizations that are adding to their health services. They're adding mental health providers on staff by, case managers on staff by, as well on standby, as well as other professionals. So it's important to look at those different places. I never would have thought that I would be considering a position with a retail organization. Like, honestly, when I think of CVS, I think of the pharmacy, I think of the pharmacist, and that's it. And I am not going back to school anytime soon. So pharmacy is definitely out of the question for me. And corporate is also expanding. So there are increasing positions at LinkedIn and Google and Microsoft. And let me tell you, they don't say social worker. Like, that's not the term. But when you look at the job description and you look at what they're doing, it's like, wait, I studied that. I know about human relationships. I know about human behavior. I know about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I know about ethics and law and research. I know these things. And this is another point of being able to make six figures. We have to change the way in which we present ourselves. If we present ourselves as nothing or as a finite thing, then that's how we're going to be perceived. So it's important for us to position ourselves for what we want and to present ourselves in a way that conveys to others our value and how we fit into their organization if you want to work for someone, and why we can fulfill those duties, although we don't have a business degree or a marketing or degree in something that we typically think is like for another discipline that very much so fits into our realm. The next one is going to be travel social work. Now, this one, if I was able to travel, I'd be all over this. I think that this is great for the person who is able to travel. Maybe your family or relational dynamics allow for that, or maybe it's just you don't have others to take into consideration. This is an excellent opportunity to serve as a staff member to organizations that it could be in your same state, or if you want to move to a different state, they can, or have a placement in a different state. You wouldn't necessarily have to move, but have a placement in another state where you travel to, then I think that's something worth trying. But you can be a staff member in a hospital, in a school, in an agency, different places. And for whatever reason, I don't know the science behind it, I don't know the rationale behind it, but the travel social workers tend to get paid more than like the social workers on staff, if they have other social workers on staff. So if you are a travel social worker, don't say how much you're getting paid. Don't fall into that trap. Don't get in that conversation, because it's going to be a quick way to make enemies, because they're going to be envious of what you're getting versus what they're getting. The next one is going to be private practice. Of course, this is the bread and butter of making six figures as a social worker. I don't have to go into detail about that. I think I'll just reiterate that with private practice, you're able to set your rate, but you're also seeing more of that rate because you're the boss. Also, there's a lot of money. If you thought being a sole private practice owner was money, try becoming a group private practice owner. There's real money to be made. The next one is going to be working for a health insurance company. Yes, I can't tell you the increased amount of openings that's taken place at your insurance. If you have insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, Aetna, they have social workers on staff. I know someone who used to work in school social work that transitioned to working into the insurance side of social work, where they provide like, it's not really case management, they're more so supervising the case managers. But at any rate, there's really good money. At least in my area, I live in Illinois, and I was recruited for a position with Blue Cross Blue Shield. I don't know why I didn't take it. I think it just fell through. Like, I don't even think I was offered the position, but like, I wasn't denied the position. A lot of crazy things happen when you are interviewing. So the next one is going to be expanding products and services. So maybe you are working full time, and maybe you want to pick up a side hustle, or maybe you're working full time for yourself. You have a private practice, but all you're offering is therapy. It's time to add some classes. It's time to add some workshops. It's time to add some products. I'm seeing so many cool merch. I'm seeing so many cool therapist planners, therapist guides. I've seen a journal for patients to use to maximize therapy. There are people who create treatment modality workbooks. So I think that there's a lot of money to be made. You just have to kind of see where you fit in. Sticking to expansion, I want you to expand your skill set. We can't expect people to pay us top dollar when we are not top dollar material. I talk a lot of stuff on here, but I also completed 4 fellowships. I've earned every right to talk that talk because I'm walking that walk. That was so corny, I know. In all seriousness, really expand your credentials, your skill set. If you know that there's a particular area of social work that you enjoy, even if you're a therapist, if you know that trauma is your thing, become a certified trauma therapist. Get that credential, get that extra licensing. If you know that you want to work with relationships, then get that graduate certificate in marriage and family therapy, or get that extra license. But basically, if you take nothing else from it, become an expert. It's okay to increase your niche, and that doesn't mean that you can't know a lot about other things, because you can, but really think about where you can get those credentials. The next one, of course, is going to be pursuing leadership opportunities. I don't know about you, but outside of me directing the University Counseling Center, all of my positions have been lateral. And in fact, I did lateral, up, and I came back down lateral. So I think it's important to make sure that you are applying for those managerial positions, those supervisory positions, whether it's in direct practice or not. Some people may be afraid of the additional responsibility, but honestly, it's just you doing what your supervisor does to you. There's probably less pressure being on their side. So give it a try if it's something that you're apprehensive about, but open to. If you made it this far, the next step is going to be probably the second most important one, which is to potentially relocate. You may be in a state that underpays social workers. You may be in a city that underpays social workers, and you may have to relocate. I did some research, and according to US News and World Report, the top 5 highest paying states for social work include California, District of Columbia, Oregon, Hawaii, and Connecticut. Also, they shared that San Francisco, California is the highest city for paying social workers. Now, you do have to take into consideration cost of living, etc., but you don't have to live in a city that you work in. People commute all the time. My max amount of time for commuting is 1 hour, so I think that's fine. I can do 1 hour in my sleep. Don't sleep and drive. But you get accustomed to that drive, and it actually, for myself, it's really a time to unwind and a time to get centered. That last step was a statistic shared by the Bureau and Labor and Statistics, BLS.gov. Also, according to BLS.gov, the top 5 positions for healthcare includes DC, Cali, Oregon, Hawaii, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. The last 2 is going to include negotiating. Of course, you have not because you ask not. Most of the times you're not going to be offered the 100K, so you have to be willing to ask. And each position that you enter, you ask for whatever you feel you're worth, and you get closer to that number, and then it should happen. And the last one is going to be time. So with time, once you are in a role, you found your dream role, you feel like you started off at a good salary. It's not at 100K, but it's where your worth is. With time and the right organization, you should be receiving a 3 to 5% raise annually, and that raise should definitely bring you to that 100K mark, whether it's over the course of 5 years or 10 years or, whatever amount of time. I think it's important to give ourselves time. It's not to say be complacent. It's not to say to give up. I just think that some things does come with time, and some things come with time, and we can't rush everything. And so if you can get to a number where you are good financially, I think I read somewhere that once a person makes 76K, anything more doesn't have like too much of a significance on like their life or lifestyle in terms of like their needs being met. And the last one, okay, this is like a bonus one, I guess, would be to change specialties. You may be in a specialty that isn't the highest paid, so it's important to make sure that you're in a specialty that can get you close to that 100K mark. Okay, so that concludes the video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment in the comment section below. If you feel comfortable, what field of social work are you in, and what is your salary range? Also share if you have any salary goals, or if you've used some of these tips to your advantage. If there's something new you'd like to add, also feel free to leave that in the comment section below as well. Also, if you want to book an appointment with me, maybe you need some help navigating an offer, counter offering, asking for a raise, asking for a promotion, or competing for a promotion, feel free to book an appointment with me. Link is in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching, and until I see you next time, be great.